शांति अव्यक्ति परिवार में आपका स्वागत है। आज है दिन 7। दुआएं दो, दुआएं लो।
Om Shanti. I welcome you all to Avyakti Parivar. Today's topic is benevolent attitude, Avyakta signal, transform or forgive someone who has a malevolent attitude with your benevolent attitude. Even if you are not able to transform them, at least you are able to forgive them. You are master ocean of forgiveness, and so your forgiveness will become a teaching for them. To forgive is to give blessings of pure feelings and give cooperation.
अभी हम मोहिनी दीदी से सुनेंगे।
In the human life, whatever we want to do, the more important goes on the attitude. The attitude is very, very subtle, but it is very important also. So the way attitude is, then similarly our words, behavior and attitude and the atmosphere will become. So today Baba is also saying that forgiveness. Why Baba is giving so much importance on the forgiveness? So we should think in depth about it. Why forgiveness? And we have to do some churning also. So once we forgive, then our attitude will become very pure, very light, very empty. Whatever heaviness we have in our attitude, it will become light. Because the attitude is very, very subtle, but it is very powerful also. So now, like Baba is saying that in order to forgive, one needs to have the benevolent attitude. So Baba is saying that anybody who has a malevolent attitude, then transform that person with your benevolent attitude or forgive. Transform or forgive. Like if anybody does anything or said anything which is not right, then should we just describe it that that person is doing wrong, they always do wrong, or we bring the change in that person? So first, whatever mistake that person has done, firstly, don't look at that.
तो बाबा कहते हैं अगर परिवर्तन नहीं कर सकते हो तो क्षमा तो कर सकते हो.
Then Baba saying that if you cannot transform, then at least forgive. If you can't transform with your attitude, then just at least forgive. Then Baba saying that you are a master ocean of forgiveness. Then your forgiveness will become a teaching for that soul. It will become a teaching for that soul. So I'm just trying to understand this in depth. You all also think if you have any experience where you were not able to transform, but you forgive. And with your forgiveness, that become teaching for that soul. Nowadays, Nowadays, some understands with the help of teaching, some do not.
तो ये
So
हमारे
better to forgive,
आत्मा के लिए शिक्षा हो जाएगी।
and
क्षमा
that forgiveness will become teaching for that soul.
शुभ भावना की
Forgiveness, to forgive is to give blessing. To forgive is to give
क्षमा
the
करना
blessing of
अर्थात
pure
शांति
feelings and give
सहमति
cooperation.
देना, सहयोग देना।
Pure feelings and give
इस
cooperation.
देखो परिभाषा पहले तो हमने कभी नहीं सुनी है।
So this kind of a definition we have never
भगवान
heard
बोल रहे
before.
हैं,
God is
भगवान
telling
कह रहे
us,
हैं,
God is saying that,
और कहते भी लोग हैं दुनिया में कि एक भगवान ही है जो
and many
क्षमा
people
करेगा।
also say in this world that there is only God
तो
who
अब
has the power to
जो
forgive.
परिभाषा में मिल रही है,
So now what definition we are
उसे
getting from
प्रैक्टिकल
God,
में तो लाएंगे ना।
we should bring it to the practical.
तो प्रैक्टिकल में लाएंगे तो कितना अच्छा बाबा कर रहे हैं
So once we will bring it into
कि
practical,
अगर
then how
किसी में
beautiful.
नहीं परिवर्तन
Baba is saying that if
करना है,
nobody transform, then at least you should forgive.
फिर इस पर और भी देखो कितना अच्छा है।
Then
क्षमा करने का मतलब ही है
then
शुभ
also
भावना की
Baba's
दक्षिणा देना,
adding that to
अर्थात
forgive
सहयोग देना।
means to give the
देखो
support
तो बाबा का
and the
एक महावाक्य है,
pure feelings.
न केवल महान है, यह
I
बहुत
I
प्यारा और
really
बहुत
think that Baba's each and every versions
अर्थ भी है।
are very very elevated and very very
अगर
subtle
थोड़ा
and in depth.
वर्णन करो, थोड़ा
So
आपस
so
में
just
बैठो
think
कि बाबा
in
क्या कहना
detail,
चाहते हैं।
churn with others, and think that
तो
what
ऐसा
actually
करना
Baba
पड़े
is
तो
trying
दो
to say.
लाइनें लिख दो।
It may happen that write few lines to us
कि बाबा जी
also
कह रहे हैं ना
after you
कि
churn.
स्थिति हो
Like so
कि
Baba is saying today
परिवर्तन
that
हो,
the
नहीं
attitude
हो तो
should be
क्षमा कर
such
दो।
that the other
और ये जो शब्द
transform.
बार बार बाबा
If
कह रहे हैं
not, then
कि
transform.
क्षमा ही
So this word that Baba is saying again and
शिक्षण
again,
है।
that forgiveness is the teaching. Baba is saying again and again this word that the
क्षमा करना
forgiveness
सिखाता है।
is the teaching. It's very important.
तो दूसरे शब्दों में ये कहे
So in
परमात्मा
another word,
क्षमा सागर
we
है,
may say that God is the ocean of
क्षमाशील
forgiveness,
होने का हम सीख
and
सकते हैं,
and
आगे
God
बढ़ते रहते हैं।
being a ocean of forgiveness, we also
तो इस
keep
अर्थ में
learning with
समझने
God
पर भी
and keep moving
बहुत
ahead.
अच्छा है।
And this is the way we should understand. Om Shanti.
ओम शांति। अवेक मूल्य रिवीजन 1969 से फरिश्तों के दिल से रूह रिहान। अव्यक्त वाणी
Avyakt Murli, date is 2nd February 1972.
प्रीत बुद्धि की निष्ठा
Signs of love filled, signs of love filled intellect.
अपने आप को
In this way, stabilize yourself in an
और
elevated
फिर
stage,
अपने आप से
and
पूछिए
then ask
कि
yourself
मेरी
whether
समझदारी
your
कितनी
intellect is constantly loving or not.
है।
Or do you
मेरी
sometimes come
की
in the
रचनाएं
list of
हैं
those with loving
और
intellects?
कभी निकल
And
जाते
at
हैं।
and
अगर आप
at other
अभी
times
भी
you are
सच्चे
crossed
प्रीत बुद्धि
off
नहीं
that
बने,
list.
अर्थात
If
कहा न
even
जाए
now you do
सोचते
not
हैं,
have a constantly loving
वहाँ स्थूल
intellect,
रूप
that
में
is,
किसी से
if you have
भी
love for someone
कभी प्रीत
or
नहीं
other
हुई
in a
है,
subtle or gross
तो
way,
वर्तमान
then
समय जबकि
according to the
पढ़ाई अभी
present
से
time,
समाप्त हुई,
now that study has
परिवार
finished
को
and
सजा
revision
रहा
is
है,
taking place,
तो
you can
इसे
understand
समझना
how
चाहिए।
close the time for the
परीक्षा का
exam
समय
is
कितना समीप है।
nowadays. Even the government gives tests every now and then and accumulates their marks towards the final exam results. In the same way, whatever actions you perform at the present time, think that you are taking a practical paper and that the result of that paper will be accumulated on the results of the final paper. In a little while, you will also witness anyone who performs the slightest sinful actions experiencing punishment in a subtle way, just as those with loving intellects have the practical experience of celebrating a movement with the Father because of staying in remembrance of the Father and his activities and his task. In the same way, those with diverse intellects will experience subtle punishment because of being diverted. This is why Bap Dada is telling you in advance that the experience of punishment is very severe. Everyone will be able to tell from that soul's face that he is experiencing punishment. No matter how much such soul try to hide themselves, they will not be able to hide. That punishment of 1 second gives the experience of the sorrow of many births. Just as when you personally come in front of Baba for a meeting of even 1 second, and that 1 second meeting quenches the thirst of so many births. In the same way, those who are diverted from the Father will have such an experience. Then they will find it very difficult to stabilize themselves in their stage and to escape that punishment. This is why you are being given a warning in advance that it is now time for the exams. Do not complain later that you did not know about the deep philosophy of such actions. This is why, in order to be free from subtle punishment, constantly remain cautious. Do not make any mistakes. If you make the slightest mistake, then, as is said, you experience 100-fold benefit for one, and you also receive 100-fold punishment for one. So you will very soon experience this verse in a practical way. This is why you must remain constantly in front of the Father, and you must constantly have a loving intellect. Acha, to the lucky stars who constantly remain personally in front of Baba, Bap Dada says, Namaste, Om Shanti.
Shanti.